Welcome everyone to Amira Signature. So we'll be making this hair bonnet you can see here. So these are the material needed. I have my scissors, my ruler, my thread to match, a chalk, my tape rule, and I have this spare material. You can use 1 yard, but I'm using this material that I have left for me. So sit back and enjoy. So to start this, we'll be measuring your round head measurement, which is my own is 22. So 22 divided by 2, I will have 11. So to cut this, you will measure your round head measurement, which is the 22 inches, and fold it into 2. So the length and the breadth should be 22 inches. So you fold into 2. After folding into 2, you fold it again, as making 4. So if you look at your fabric and count it, you will notice that it's now 4. Now to start the measurement. So the round head I said is 22 divided by 2, 11. So I'll be marking 11 and half inch for sewing allowance. But you can leave yours at 11 if you like. But for me, I'm marking 11 and a half round, as if you're cutting a fillet. And afterwards, you cut it out. I'll be doing a reversible bonnet. So with this, I'll use it to cut another piece. So we have 2 there. Now to get the cut you have at the back, you take your tape rule or your ruler and measure any point you want. You measure it up by 3 inches. Then the side you measure by 4. You can use 5 if you like, but for me I'm using 4 inches. So you mark the 4 inches at both sides, then you make that curve. You make that curve to meet each other. So after marking that point to meet each other, the next thing you have to do is to cut it off. Now this you are doing for the 2 pieces you're using to work. You cut it out as well as the other part, as you can see. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, give us a like, and hit the thumb bell button for more videos. Okay, let's proceed now. Then you match it together, right side facing right side. Then you join along the line you can see there. So I finished joining with half an inch, and I'm back. And you flip it to the other side. Now the right side will now be facing you. Don't forget to iron very well. We don't have light here, sorry. That's why I'm just doing this for the tutorial sake. So you have to iron very well. Then afterwards, you go to your machine and sew round with a loose stitch, just like you're doing your gathers. Now I've pinned it all around so that it can be easy for me when I go to my machine and sew the gathers. Now you go to your machine and do the gathers, which I've done here. So you gather it, make sure you gather it all around to your round head measurement, which is 22. Now you measure it all around to ensure that you have that 22, which is your round head measurement. You measure it all around, which I'm doing now. After which you can see that it is 22. Now go to the rope. For the rope, I'm using since it's 2 different colors, so I cut 3 inches each. As you have to, the length should be your round head measurement 22 times 3, which is 66 in length, then 3 inches each. Then I went to the machine and I sew it using half an inch. Now after this, you have to look for the midpoint and notch. And you create a line at the middle to indicate that that's the midpoint, that's the middle. Do it same thing for the back. After doing it for the front, you do it for the back to indicate that that's the middle point. Then after which, remember our round head measurement is 22. Now to get this, when you divide it by 2, you have 11 inches. So you have to mark 11 inches at both ends, from the midpoint there. 11 inches at your left hand side and 11 inches at the right hand side. So this is what I'm doing here. So after marking the 11 inches on both sides, so you have to go to your machine. If you want to create a shape like that, which I did, you can do it, but if you want to leave it like that, you can also leave it. For me, I decided to give it that shape right there. Now next thing for you to do is go to your machine and sew it from that point where your 11 inches stopped down to that curvy part, and leave the center part open because that's the place you're using to join the distance. Now you trim off any excesses you might have, then flip it to the other side. Then go to your ironing table and make sure you iron it very well. Now to your bonnet, you look for the midpoint and attach that rope to it all round. And after sewing that, this is what I have. Our bonnet is ready. You can see the both sides is ready, very clean and neat. Very clean and neat. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you have not, please give us a like, subscribe and share this video across. Thank you very much for watching. God bless. See you in my next video. Bye.